Well, hey there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. So today, the specific film I'm reviewing is called The Covenant. This Guy Ritchie film is now playing in theaters and on Amazon Prime Video. It's rated R and is 2 hours and 3 minutes long, but it doesn't feel like it. The time really flies. My movie review mom grade is an A. And let me explain why. Obviously, I loved it. I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, and even recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that I think you'll also really like if you like this one. All right, ready to dive in a nutshell. I love Guy Ritchie's classic stylish movies, so I was curious to see what he was going to do with a war movie. He worked as the producer, screenwriter, and director. So the film follows a U.S. Army sergeant named John Kinley and his Afghan interpreter, Ahmed, in 2018. The movie is a powerful tribute to the many Afghan interpreters who risked their lives and reputations to serve the U.S. Army and help the American cause. It has everything you want in a war movie: action, drama, emotion, realism, honor, and a lot of heart. All right, so here's the list of things that I like, starting off, of course, with Jake Gyllenhaal. I adore him. He is one of the best actors out there these days, so I figured the movie would be excellent simply due to his performance. I was right. He's amazing. Will someone please give this guy an Academy Award already? He has been in several award-winning films, yet has only been nominated once for Best Supporting Actor in Brokeback Mountain. And I didn't even think that was his best performance in a movie at all. I mean, he did a great job, but he has just exceeded that level of performance by far. He said that this movie actually made him cry when he watched it, and it'll make you cry too. Get the tissues ready. Dar Salim also gave an excellent performance. I had never seen him in anything before. We are sure to see a lot more of him in future American movies. He was that good. Both Jake Gyllenhaal and Jason Wong starred in different Jarhead movies. I liked both of them. The rest of the cast includes Reese Yates, Sean Sager, Christian Ochoa Lavernia, Bobby Schofield, Johnny Lee Miller, Emily Beecham, and many more. Everyone did an outstanding job. I wondered about the title of the movie because there are already quite a few other films named The Covenant. At the end of 2022, Guy Ritchie said that he changed the name of the movie from The Interpreter to The Covenant. And I think The Interpreter would have been a better name, but based on the story, it could have easily been named The Debt or The Commitment, as Jake Gyllenhaal's character called it. Filming was done in Alicante, Spain. I lived in Spain for 2 years. The musical score by Christopher Benstead is extremely effective. Great cinematography that captures the rough terrain and lifestyles in Afghanistan. Lots of action and tension. You can taste it with your tongue or cut it with a knife or whatever the cliche is. I was on the edge of my seat basically the entire time. Acts 2 and 3 are just crazy nonstop action. We get to learn a little bit about Afghan culture, which I always enjoy. And keep watching during the final credits to see photos of some of the soldiers and their interpreters. Of course, some of the faces are covered to protect their identity. We see some character growth, particularly in the protagonist, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, but in some of the other characters as well, and I always look for that. Now, there were a few things that I didn't like about the movie, and this is one that I liked and didn't like. First of all, the movie is very timely, as President Biden recently pulled the American troops out of Afghanistan in a terribly botched manner, I might add. How he handled the The withdrawal of troops was a complete disgrace to our country, and not to get political, but especially to our soldiers and their interpreters over there. His disastrous decisions cost many civilian and military lives, not to mention leaving important equipment and how much money that cost the American taxpayer. There is some humor in this movie, but not too much, and not so much as to distract or change the tone of the movie. In the beginning, there's some of that typical military brotherhood kind of razzing, and then the tone of the movie definitely shifts to survival. Act 3 is way more powerful than Act 1. Of course, they're setting everything up in Act 1, and you're just kind of wondering, okay, what's the deal? And there are a couple of CGI moments that weren't perfect, but honestly, I didn't care. And if you're really involved in the story, you might not even notice. It would have been amazing if this were a true story. I mean, it's amazing as just a story, but if you added that element to it, wow. Surely there are real events similar, though, to what we see in this film. All right, so let me give you some tips for parents. This is not an appropriate movie for children. There is profanity, including many F-bombs, brutal violence with various weapons, as well as hand-to-hand combat, blood, and a high dead body count. There were some themes that were illustrated very well, though, such as trust, war, courage, survival, and survival's guilt, PTSD, determination, and persistence and grit like you've never seen before. Pay your debts is a message, and honor. So I always like to share interesting lines and funny lines, if there are any worth sharing, to give you kind of a feel for the movie. And there's this one line that two characters spoke. One of them is Colonel Vokes, who's played by Johnny Lee Miller, and he's having a conversation with Jake Gyllenhaal's character. And they kind of close the door, and they say, first the Colonel says it, I really enjoy not having this conversation. And then later on, Jake says the same thing. And then here's a really interesting line that is the motivation for Jake Gyllenhaal's character, for sure. His name is Sergeant John Kinley, and he's trying to explain why he has to do something. And so he says to somebody, I have a hook in me, one you cannot see, but it is there. And you think I have a choice? And you've got to admire and respect that. And then I also really like, well, I'm trying to think if this is a giveaway, but it's in the trailer, so you've seen it. But anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal says, I'm going to get that man and his family out of the position we have put him in. And he's talking about trying to rescue this interpreter who was left in Afghanistan. All right, so there are three movies I instantly thought of as I was watching this that I thought are really good. I mentioned one, Jarhead, which actually has two movies, I think, maybe three, maybe even more than that. And Jake Gyllenhaal was in one of them. Another movie that definitely comes to my mind is Lone Survivor, and how it is a true story. And it's based on a guy who got stuck out there and had to survive while the Taliban just was crawling all over the mountains trying to hunt him down and kill him. And it's really powerful. And then another one, also based on a true story with Chris Hemsworth, no less, is called 12 Strong. Also takes place in Afghanistan. We're seeing so many more movies coming out during that war period. And I'm still amazed at how many new movies and stories are coming to light from World War II. That time period just fascinates me, probably because there's a clear good versus evil in that war. Anyway, I think if you love war movies, you will definitely enjoy this. And maybe enjoy is not quite the right word because it's a tough movie to watch, but it's so well done. And just let's give at least a nomination to Jake Gyllenhaal, please, shall we? All right, have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoy this. I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.